This is a complete disaster. The Orioles are wasting the young talent of their amazing group. What is Mike Elias going to do at the deadline to maximize the potential for the Baltimore Orioles' future? Welcome to Orioles Digest. Once again, I'm your host, Kam Brice, and thank you for joining me today. We have a lot to talk about on the Baltimore Orioles. Before you do anything, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are part of this percentage, let's change that today. Come join Orioles Digest. We'll give you daily updates about the Baltimore Orioles every single day that you don't want to miss. Now, over the past couple days, we've seen good signs from the Baltimore Orioles, but there's still 7 games out the wild card spot. A month ago, we expected the Baltimore Orioles to be about 5 to 6 games out of the wild card spot, a couple games before the All-Star break. That's not the case. This team is 7 games back, even though the offense and the pitching has been way better than it's been this season. So what's going on with this team? Can they make a deep playoff push? And why this team is letting down one young star? We're going to take a deep dive into that on today's episode of Orioles Digest. So let's get into our first topic of the day. Jackson Holliday. Read this headline. Orioles can't hide from dawning evidence they're letting Jackson Holliday down. Do I believe? I think when I was reading this article from Leo Lambert, who is with the fan side, he works with the MLB and do partnership with them. Just reading it, I was kind of confused at first because he started to talk about how last year Jackson Holliday wasn't the best. But the Baltimore Orioles were so good and they had so many young players in the offensive end last year that the poor play from Jackson Holliday, we didn't really care about that because we know he's a prospect and he's going to get better with time over time. But now, when you see a guy like this developing, and I've said this, and the same thing, I'm going to implement Kobe Mayo for a few seconds, so stay with me, guys. Kobe Mayo, I said it. You send him back down, you bring him back up. The adjustment period is going to be there. For minor league players, when you go from double A to triple A to the MLB, it's a massive jump. Not everyone can be Juan Soto. Not everyone can be Manny Machado and be these type of Bryce Harper, these guys that come up through the minors and just rake. That's natural generational ability. Not everyone has that. But for Jackson Holliday, he does have that generational ability. We've seen it. OPS well over 800 now, 11 home runs. That's second for the most for the Baltimore Orioles. So if this guy can hit over 20 home runs, still over 20 bags, we're thinking of a guy that can possibly get 30 for 30 in the near future. But for right now, how is this team letting Jackson Holliday down? I think this team has let him down because last year there was so much scrutiny on Jackson Holliday. 2 for 36, 1 for 41. There was so many scrutiny and people saying he's overrated. He's not this prospect the Baltimore Orioles missed. They should have traded for Tariq Skubal when you had the chance. You should have moved him when he had. He's not the real number one prospect. He's not better than Gunnar. But if we're being honest, who is the Baltimore's best player, overall player right now? Who's been playing the best baseball this season? That guy. That 21-year-old that fans gave up on last year. And I want to talk about this because a lot of people gave up on this guy. But me, I stuck through because I know the development process of guys. And Jackson Holliday is going, it took him a while. We have to remember last year was the first year he's ever struggled in his young minor league career, in professional career, my fault. So he comes up to the majors in the second stint, added 15 pounds of extra muscle. They said Holiday was eating ground beef every single day, and we see it. The power is there. Now, the one thing that's still skeptical about his game, and is going to come with natural playing ability, is the base path, getting good leads, pickoff moves, reading pitchers, balls in the dirt. I think his jumps are poor. I don't think the team really formulated a plan around Jackson Holliday aggressive stealing bags. I know in spring training they went to see a little bit because we've seen him in the minors, but all these bases that he's stealing is just based off of instincts right now. Once he gets the formula down, the formation, the pitcher's back foot. Is he offset? Is he left-hander? Is he right-hander? Would I gotta do the first move? Can I make a big jump? That's the thing. If Holiday has enough speed that if he has a bad jump, he might not get caught. But this year he's stolen 10 bags and caught 8 times. So that's not really that good for a guy that we think that's going to spill over 20, 25 stolen bases a year. But in other hand, I think the Baltimore's are letting him down. Um, this is the last couple minutes I'm going to spend on Jackson Holliday, but I feel like we've seen this kid develop. We're seeing this kid develop. So why is the rest of the team not coming together? We're seeing other guys, Sagano, Charlie Morton, Dean Kramer. All these guys have a few good starts and then bad starts. But the only guy on this team that's consistent every single game, even if he doesn't get on base, he will play amazing defense. Is this young star Jackson Holliday, and he has a bright future, and I'm so excited. So Ryan O'Hearn, I want to talk about him because there's been a lot of trade rumors around the MLB. Ryan O'Hearn going to the Phillies, Ryan O'Hearn going to the Padres. The Padres need a first baseman and DH to hit for power. The Yankees need another first baseman because Paul Goldschmidt is in the retirement home. Sorry to say that. And then you have other teams like the Mariners, the Tigers, who can boost their lineup. And then you have teams like the St. Louis Cardinals, who might be looking to move Nolan Arenado, might be looking to get their first baseman DH. So there's a lot of situations with Ryan O'Hearn. Yes, first All Star, DFA 2023, and the Baltimore Orioles picked him up in 2024. They DFA'd him, sent him down to AAA, brought him back up in 2024, and we started to see the DH power he had. He was limited, only hit about. He was a platoon bat. He started off lower, and then now he's becoming an everyday DH, everyday first baseman type of player for the Baltimore Orioles. Now, Ryan O'Hearn is not old, but he's at 28, 29, 30 range. So, where do the Baltimore Orioles want to do with this? What can I get for Ryan O'Hearn? If you can get, say, if I can get a number 5 through 9 prospect. Left-handed pitcher, sitting around 22, 23, 24 years old, has years of control in double A or has seen stints in triple A. Straight up for Ryan O'Hearn, I'll do that. And maybe earn throwing another catcher because we need that, or DH ability to come up from triple A Norfolk to the MLB. So for Ryan O'Hearn's sake, I think the Baltimore's need to trade him. The best decision is for the Orioles to trade him. You got to get rid of him. You have Cedric Mullins, who we're going to talk about in about 5 seconds. I don't want to go too far on this, but if you ask me who I think is going to be at the deadline, I think to make this team better, to down fully build around Jackson Holliday, Gunnar Henderson, and Adley Rutschman, you sell, you sell, you sell, you sell. And when I say sell, I mean this guy. I love Cedric Mullins, but it's time for Cedric Mullins to go. Was that pitcher from the Phillies? I know he the 23-year-old that just got caught up this year. First 3 starts, he had an ERA of 1.89. Now he's sitting around. I think his name Casey Musers. Nice. I'm just confused. I don't know the name off the top of my head right now. But if anyone does, I think he's a left-handed pitcher from the Phillies. Has great stuff, but I think his ERA is sitting around above 6 now. So that's another deal. I saw them have a mock trade with Cedric Mullins. But without further ado, I think Cedric Mullins and Ryan O'Hearn will be gone trade the line. This allows you to build that roster around Jackson Holliday and Gunnar Henderson. I'm not going to say Adley Rutschman because we have no idea what his situation with the Baltimore is going on for right now. Thank you for joining the Orioles Digest. Once again, I'm your host, Kam Brice. Please hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications. We're giving you daily updates about the Baltimore every single day that you don't want to miss.